Hello there, good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Shuhaida Arifin. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein called on all police personnel involved in the state elections early voting process tomorrow to fulfill their civic duty, saying it was a right that has been entrusted to the Royal Malaysian Police (PDRM). The IGP said fulfilling their civic duty will show the people that PDRM supports the democratic process of voting. Therefore, all the personnel involved should be accountable. He also reminded police personnel on duty throughout the campaign period and polling day this Saturday to carry out their task with full dedication and caution. According to the Election Commission website, early voting in the six-state election will involve 49,660 Malaysian Armed Forces personnel and 47,728 police personnel along with their spouses. Whereas the early voting for the Kuala Terengganu parliamentary by-election will involve 1,362 police personnel and 35 military personnel as well as their spouses. The state elections in Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Pulau Pinang, Kedah, Terengganu and Kelantan will be held simultaneously with the Kuala Terengganu parliamentary by-election on 12 August. The Communications and Digital Ministry is offering all Malaysians the 5G Rahmah package starting 31st August in conjunction with the National Month celebrations. Minister Fahmi Fadil said the initiative is conducted with the cooperation of the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), telecommunication service providers telcos and two device manufacturers Samsung Malaysia and Honor Malaysia. Fahmi said the package is a 5G device bundle data plan priced at RM60 a month with the choice of either a Samsung A14 5G or Honor 19 Lite 5G at prices as low as RM240. He explained that the first 100,000 subscribers from the B40 group will get to enjoy the package with the smartphone priced as low as RM120 instead. The package, which has a 24-month subscription contract, will be available from 31st August with an extended warranty of 2 years for the smartphones as compared to the 1-year period previously. Meanwhile, civil servants will get to enjoy a monthly rebate of RM10 for their respective postpaid mobile package under the Rahmah Civil Servants Postpaid Incentive. It is applicable to any existing postpaid package, which means that civil servants will save RM120 annually on postpaid package payments. Both the 5G Rahmah package and the Rahmah Civil Servants Postpaid Incentives are mobile data service packages that are cheaper than existing packages on the market. Students with special educational needs have the ability and potential to contribute to the development and progress of education in the country. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said the Ministry of Education MOE are always committed and continues to provide adequate access and facilities for these students to succeed in the education sector. Elaborating further, Fadlina said SMKPK Bumbung 5, which is the 35th special needs school in the country and the 5th in Pulau Pinang, reflects the MOE's commitment to giving special attention to students with special needs. Therefore, allocation in the federal budget for students with special needs was also increased, and the government was developing a special education sports school in Bandar Ain Stek Nilai, Negeri Sembilan. She also promised that MOE would not leave any groups behind in education. It includes providing access to education to students who do not have identification documents and do not have citizenship through the initiative of the Sekolah Bimbingan Jalinan Kasih (SBJK) initiative for sickly students and those who are in the shackles of poverty. The Malaysian Aviation Commission MAVCOM has approved a 57 air traffic right ATR application in the second quarter of this year, comprising 45 international and 12 domestic routes. MAVCOM said on a year-on-year basis, ATR applications increased by 87.5% during the period compared with the second quarter of last year, signalling an invigorated momentum within the aviation sector. In a statement released today, MAVCOM Executive Chairman Datuk Seri Saripudin Kasim said the Commission had approved ATRs for various new destinations and to establish new hub connections. He noted that these decisive measures are specifically tailored to enhance connectivity, spur economic growth, and catalyse the recovery of the aviation sector. He further explained that MAVCOM is particularly encouraged to see airlines seizing these expansion opportunities. The significant increase in ATR applications and approvals in the second quarter of this year compared to the same period in 2022 is a testament to the industry's inherent strength and its capacity to adapt and thrive. Airlines are required to utilize the ATRs allocated within 6 months from the approved effective date by MAVCOM to avoid the expiry of the ATRs granted. Niger closes its airspace in the face of the threat of intervention. That and more coming up in our foreign segment. At least 28 people were killed when an express train derailed in southern Pakistan, with an emergency declared at local hospitals struggling to deal with dozens of injured. Accidents and derailment occur frequently on the country's antiquated railway system, which has nearly 7,500 kilometers of track and carries more than 80 million passengers a year. Railway Minister Khawajasa Rafiq said at least 1,000 passengers were aboard the Hazara Express when it derailed on a section of track where no faults had been reported. At the accident site outside Nawabshah, dozens of cars, tractors, rickshaws and motorcycles could be seen parked on a road that runs alongside the track. Volunteers were wading through a canal that separates the road from the railway line to help and lifting the injured to get them assistance. Senior police official Yunis Chandio told Geo News from the side that some passengers remained trapped in one carriage. The Hazara Express is a daily passenger train that leaves to port city of Karachi in the south and takes around 33 hours to reach Haviland in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, some 1,600 kilometers north. 14 people died over the weekend in the Chinese city of Shulan due to flooding caused by Typhoon Doksuri as rescue efforts for flood-affected residents continued across northern China. The deaths in Shulan in northeastern Jilin province add to the more than 20 who died last week in Beijing and Hebei. Authorities have yet to provide an overall death toll for the entire country. Footage carried by state broadcaster CCTV showed extensive flooding and supplies being delivered to residents via helicopter. Over 130,000 residents have been impacted in Shulan and 79,000 people have been evacuated in Jilin province. China's Ministry of Water Resources raised the response for flooding to level 3 on Sunday in Inner Mongolia, Jilin and Heilongjiang. China uses a 4-tier emergency response system with level 1 the most urgent. Niger's coup leaders have closed the country's airspace after rejecting an ultimatum from West African states to reinstate deposed President Mohamed Bazoum or risk military intervention. The move announced late yesterday came as tens of thousands of coup supporters gathered at the stadium of Niger's capital, Niamey, to cheer on the generals who seized power or the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland. Thousands of supporters of the military coup in Niger gathered at Niamey Stadium on Sunday when a deadline set by the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS to return the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum to power is set to expire. The 7th coup in West and Central Africa in 3 years has rocked the Sahel region, one of the poorest in the world. Given its uranium and oil riches and its pivotal role in a war with militants, Niger holds importance for the US, Europe, China and Russia. sports, Tian Chi Liu Chun add another bronze for Malaysia at the World University Games. The excellent start of the national men's hockey squad in the Asian Championship Trophy ACT 2023 campaign came to a halt after being thrashed 0-5 by three-time champions India in Chennai last night. The home team's goal fest started in the 15th minute with a field goal by Selvam Karti in the match at the Mayor Radhakrishnan Stadium. After a scoreless second quarter, India struck again when they scored twice from penalty corners, one each by Hardik Singh in the 32nd minute and Harmanpreet Singh 10 minutes later. India piled on the misery of the speedy Tigers coached by A.R. Sevaraj when it was Gurjan Singh's turn to score a field goal in the 53rd minute, and Jugraj Singh completed their big win with a penalty corner a minute later. India's stylish win saw them collect 7 points to overtake Malaysia, who collected 6 points to top the group after 3 games. Malaysia, who opened the tournament campaign by defeating Pakistan 3-1 on Thursday, followed by a 5-1 victory over China on Friday, will settle accounts with Japan. Meanwhile, Aru Sevaraj was clearly disappointed with his men, who was seen to give a lot of space and respect the opponents in the match. The Malaysian contingent picked up their 4th bronze at the World University Games Universiade in Chengdu, China, through shuttlers Wong Tian Chi Liu Chun in the men's double event recently. The pair finished 3rd after losing to China's Ren Xiangyu Tan Xiang 13-21, 21-19, 14-21 in the semi-finals held at Shuangliu Sports Centre Gymnasium. Xiangyu Tiang will take on either compatriots Chao Haodong, He Jiting or Po Li Wei, Li Fangqi of Taiwan, who play in the other semi-final fixture. In addition to the 4 bronze medals, Malaysia have so far collected 1 gold and a silver and are 25th in the overall medal tally. The games, which officially began on 28th July, will end tomorrow, 8th August. Up next on our business segment, Budget 2024 focuses on strengthening economy and protecting people's well-being. The proposed progressive wage policy that will complement the minimum wage structure will be voluntary in nature and is incentive-based and productivity-linked. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the policy would serve as a shift towards recovering the labour market that could be enhanced more consistently with a more balanced wage distribution. Datuk Seri Anwar said that the policy, which was discussed by the National Economic Action Council, was proposed after taking into account the views and interests of employers and workers. He said the policy would be followed by guidelines for the annual progressive wage for each sector, job and level. The Premier also informed that preliminary engagement sessions showed that 62% of employees and 80% of companies had given positive feedback on the proposed policy. Datuk Seri Anwar said the matter would be brought to the Cabinet in fine-tuning the implementation mechanism that would be done in stages and to explore the need for fund allocation for incentives that would be determined based on the government's financial situation and policy needs. The Council is of the view that the policy is one of the labour market's reforms to ensure Malaysian workers are not burdened with the cost of living and able to enjoy dignified salaries and achieve the agenda to uplift the country's economy. In a related development, the Prime Minister revealed that the government aims for the wage share ratio to increase to 45% of the overall earnings. He said this following the ratio drop from 37.2% in 2020 to 32.4% in 2022. According to the statistics on wage of the formal sector for the first quarter of this year unveiled last week, over 2 million workers in Malaysia earned a monthly salary of less than 2,000 ringgit. The Premier said the situation was even more alarming for youths aged 20 to 24, where the median monthly wage was 1,682 ringgit. He noted that for most Malaysian employees, their salary would only reach 3,500 ringgit when they are aged between 40 and 49, the highest throughout their career. He further stressed that the wage issue is a main concern that can no longer be neglected. The Budget 2024 engagement sessions that have been conducted since several weeks ago are focusing on efforts to strengthen the country's economy and to protect the people's well-being. According to Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan, the engagement sessions would be more inclusive with the involvement of the public and private sector as well as the non-governmental organisations.
Ya, kita dalam libat urus belanjawan ini kita ingin memastikan kumpulan yang kita panggil untuk memberikan segala pandangan itu hendaklah dalam pengetahuan mereka, dalam maklumat mereka, kita ingin melaksanakan apa yang dipanggil sebagai ekonomi madani memperkasa rakyat. Dan ekonomi madani ini tujuannya ada dua, ya. Yang pertama adalah untuk menjadikan Malaysia sebagai peneraju ekonomi Asia, dan yang kedua untuk meningkatkan taraf hidup rakyat.
Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan also said the Madani Economy Framework is being implemented while taking into account the total operating expenditure of 289.1 billion ringgit allocated under the Budget 2023. The engagement sessions were held physically and virtually to obtain the input of various participants for the tabling of the budget. Each proposal received during the sessions would be studied by various parties before the tabling of Budget 2024 in October. One of the main issues long faced by the capital market industry is the shortage of skilled labour, especially among the younger generation. Towards overcoming this, the Finance Minister MOF and the Ministry of Higher Education MOHE, in collaboration with the Security Commission of Malaysia, rolled out a flagship capital market graduate initiative, the Invested Leadership Programme. The program, in partnership with the Asia School of Business ASB, comprises of 1 month comprehensive and interactive learning module followed by 6 months of on-the-job training. CEO, President and Dean of ASB, Professor Sanjay Sarma, in the commencement ceremony of the program said he was pleased to be part of the strategic collaboration. He expressed confidence that the Institute's expertise and resources will enhance the participants' learning experience.
So what we're trying to do with this program is prepare these young, very smart people to hit the road running when they land in the companies and make talent acquisition much more efficient.
Also present were MOHE Deputy Secretary General Datuk Haji Megat Sani Megat Ahmad Supian, MOF Deputy Secretary General Datuk Anis Rizana Muhammad Zainuddin and Chairman of Securities Commission Malaysia Datuk Seri Dr. Awang Adik Hussein. To date, there are more than 200 on-the-job training offered by over 50 program partners ranging from investment banks, stock broking firms, fund management companies and many others. Launched by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on 19 June this year, Invested ED is a multifaceted capacity building roadmap aimed to address the pressing need to bridge the talent gap in the rapidly evolving economic landscape. The younger generation needs to fill in vacancies in the capital market to maintain a healthy, adaptable ecosystem. According to Chief Executive Officer of CGS CIMB, Azizah Muhammad Yatim, this is due to the lack of awareness among the youngsters on the prospect in the field.
The encouragement is not there. So what we are doing currently, we are creating awareness to especially the uni. For your info, we have trading labs which is placed at the uni. This trading lab is where the student will learn, buy and sell shares. At the same time, they also learn how to read the market.
For the participants, the program provides a golden opportunity for their career aspiration and at the same time develop their portfolios.
And what actually attracted me to apply this program is the program offers structural learning and on-job training for a short term, which is 6 months only.
Actually, this is a good initiative from the government because this is the first time Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Finance collaborate with Bursa Malaysia and Security Malaysia. This program is like a golden opportunity for fresh graduates in Malaysia.
Well, coming from a STEM background, I needed an environment, a conducive environment for me to learn, as well as get experience from seasoned professionals. And I felt like the hybrid between the two was a perfect segue into my career progression. Yeah.
The key socio-economic indicators for some states improved last year, buoyed by a 248.1% rise in domestic tourism expenditure, reaching 64.1 billion ringgit versus 18.4 billion ringgit in 2021. Chief Statistician Dr. Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said domestic visitor numbers spiked by 160.1%, reaching a record of 171.6 million visitors against 66 million in 2021. Dato' Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the resumption of Malaysia's international borders and its transition to the endemic phase on 1st April last year profoundly impacted the country's socio-economic landscape. This was reflected in Malaysia's gross domestic product, which rose 8.7% versus 3.3% in 2021, marking its best performance since 2000. Dato' Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the reopening of all economic activities, particularly tourism-related industries, helped strengthen the country's economy. He added the permission for interstate travel and the implementation of various government initiatives to revitalize the tourism industry helped promote domestic tourism and substantially improve the people's living standards. Selangor received the most visitors with 22 million, followed by Kuala Lumpur and Sarawak, each receiving 16.9 million and 15.5 million visitors respectively. Foreign investors continued their net buying on Bursa Malaysia for the fourth consecutive week last week, albeit at a more moderate rate of 130.5 million ringgit. In its fund flow report, MIDF Research said trading for the week ended 4th August was mixed, with inflows recorded on Monday at 280.9 million ringgit and Friday 42.3 million ringgit, while the rest of the week saw outflows. MIDF researchers said from Tuesday to Thursday, foreign investors net sold 192.7 billion ringgit worth of equities, primarily disposing of stocks like Petronas Chemical and CIMB. It also said the top three sectors that saw net inflows were financial services, utilities and plantation. Meanwhile, the research house revealed that sectors with net outflows for the week were consumer product and services, industrial products and services, as well as telecommunications and media. It added year-to-date foreigners have net sold 2.93 billion ringgit. Local institutions remain net sellers of domestic equities for the fourth week in a row after net selling 122 million ringgit last week. In terms of participation, the average daily trading volume had declined across the board, with retail investors at negative 16.8%, local institutions negative 20.8%, and foreign investors negative 6.5%. The international reserves of Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) increased to $112.9 billion as of 31st July this year, compared with $111.8 billion on 14 July this year. The central bank, through a statement today, said that the reserves position was sufficient to finance 5.1 months of imports of goods and services and was 1.0 times the total short-term external debt. The main components of the international reserves were foreign currency reserves, International Monetary Fund reserves positioned, special drawing rights, gold and other reserve assets. Meanwhile, total assets stood at 627.66 billion ringgit, comprising gold and foreign exchange and other reserves, including SDRS, Malaysian government papers, loan and advances, land and buildings and other assets. BNM added that capital and liabilities comprised paid-up capital, 100 million ringgit, Reserves 183.6 billion ringgit. Currency in circulation 158.44 billion ringgit. Deposits by financial institution 174.72 billion ringgit. Federal government deposits 9.27 billion ringgit. Other deposits 37.22 billion ringgit. Bank Negara papers 29.75 billion ringgit. Allocation of SDRS 29.96 billion ringgit and other liabilities 4.64 billion ringgit. Indonesia's economic growth in the second quarter accelerated unexpectedly to its highest rate in 3 quarters, shored up by strong household and government spending and despite its exports weakening amid falling commodity prices. Southeast Asia's biggest economy expanded 5.17% in the April-June quarter from the same period a year earlier, faster than the 4.93% growth predicted by economists polled by Reuters. On a quarterly, non-seasonally adjusted basis, gross domestic product expanded 3.86% compared with the poll's prediction of 3.72% growth. Indonesia post-pandemic recovery received a boost from a commodities-led export boom last year, but analysts expect momentum to cool as prices for its top products like palm oil and coal fall and global demand weakens with interest rate hikes in many countries. Indonesia's own monetary tightening of 225 basis points from August 2022 to January 2023 was also seen hurting domestic demand. However, household consumption expanded 5.23% on a yearly basis last quarter, the quickest pace since the third quarter of 2022. Growth in investment and government spending also more than doubled to 4.63% and 10.62% respectively. Last year's growth was 5.3%, a 9-year high. The government is targeting the same growth rate for this year. Alright, that wraps up Malaysia Tonight. A reminder of our top story, affordable 5G Rahmah package to ease the people's burden. I'm Syuhaida Arifin, Malaysia Madani, tekad perpaduan penuhi harapan. Have a pleasant evening.